Hello folks, it's Chris in the Arena Recording Studio with your very first, or one of your very first guitar lessons. I deal constantly with lots and lots of beginner guitarists that come in on a regular basis to start their musical journey with me in the Arena Recording Studio, and it's great. But I'm going to touch today on something that I see on a regular thing, and it's transitions from one chord to the other, and how we can help this and speed this process up. So I'm going to take two simple chords, one major chord, G major, and one minor chord, an E minor. And the reason why I've picked these is this is probably an easy approach to go for, where we can play 4 strums on each chord. Now this is what happens. See how we get the pause in between the chord changes. Now what that's caused by is by focusing on the left hand only, where we're trying to make sure that we land these fingers on the correct strings, on the correct notes to create these chords, how they're supposed to be played. Now I approach this a little bit differently. I feel that this, with a lot of guitar players, is very underrated. This right hand, this picking hand, this strumming hand is the one that makes all the noise. For an example, if I do this now, we've got nothing coming out. I'm still playing the chords, but nothing's coming out. So this is the engine. This is the bit that creates the tonality in the music as we want it to come out. You know, we get these chords to ring. So when we put this pause in between these chord changes, I look at a solution to this, and we have to keep driving this picking hand, this strumming hand along. We don't stop. And normally what happens, like I say, is we focus on the left hand and neglect this, whereas really what we should focus on is the right hand. And even if you don't land these fingers on straight away, then what will happen is that this left hand, this fretting hand, is forced to keep up with the strumming hand then. So you kind of marry both together. Whereas early days is it's kind of two separate entities that are working against one another. We're going to show you, I'm going to show you today how we can overcome that, and this is really quite a straightforward thing to do. So again, what we're looking for is a 1, 2, 3, 4 change, 1, 2, so it's a consistent, there's no pause. Okay? Keep the right hand going. So the way that I do this, and because most beginners play independently from other musicians or backing tracks or any other source of time, then what, you know, that keeps time for you, we tend to play with these fluctuations. Very common this. So the approach that I use to this is I set the metronome to 60 beats per minute. That's 1 beat per second. If that's too fast, slow it down a little bit, go 55, 50, till you find the speed that you can actually change from one chord to the other without pausing or stopping in between. So I'll give you an example. That is the first thing that you need to get right, whether you're going from a G to a C or a C to a D or an E minor when you're working on these beginner open chords. Those are the ways that you should approach it. Play with the metronome. It pushes this timing and it keeps this right hand doing what it's supposed to do. The next thing that I then recommend to everybody is, instead of speeding up the metronome, instead of playing 4 strums, play 3, because you've got less time before you have to change to the chord again. So here's an example of that. So 3s. Get the idea? And then the next one, rather than changing the speed of the tempo again, keep it at 60 beats a minute if that's the comfortable one for you, and then try 2 beats, and then we go on to 1. So I'll give you an example of those. So we're actually shortening the amount of time, quickening the change time from one chord to another by doing this without changing the tempo of the metronome. So we're on 2s now, so that's going to be 1. Go back to 4. Then try 2. 3. And a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try a 3. Mix them up. And the reason why you need to mix those changes up from 4s, 3s, 2s, 1s, ideally it's not creating great music. What it's doing is it's directing this focus constantly on changing from one chord to the other. If you just sit and go 4 for 5, 10 minutes, you'll get very good at playing 4 and your brain switches off. You need to constantly be challenging yourself as you're playing. So this is where the metronome comes in. The metronome is going to challenge this timing issue and make sure left and right hands are married up, and then going 4, 2, 3, 1, 1, 3, 4, 4, etc. You're concentrating, you're in control of that. You're making those decisions on what you're going to play, and then you're going to play them in time to the metronome. That really does tighten the changes up of your chords. And the reason why, like I say, is it's down to the fact that you are focusing probably at a really high intensity on the whole exercise, which we normally don't do when we just stick with one repetition of something over and over and over. Now, I've seen this over the years, and this works really quite quickly. Then what you should do is, once you've got G's and E minors, you should maybe look at, say, a C and a D major and throw those in, and then try those in 4s and 3s and 2s and 1s. And you're not creating great music. What you're creating is the ability to create great music. Okay, so try this, see how you go. Let me know in your comments below if you find this useful. Most of the students love this concept, and it really does push them along quite quickly. In a matter of weeks they're playing maybe 8 or 9, 10 chords, and they've got the ability to change from 4, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, you know, all these kinds of timings on songs, and they find that relatively easy because all the groundwork's been done. From me, Chris, as I always like to say, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It makes my day. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I will respond to all the comments personally. I always do. It makes my day. And stay safe, stay well, and keep on rocking in the free world.